Tonight, President Trump in two cities devastated by mass shootings.
Dayton strong!
Met by protesters outside a hospital in Dayton, but inside greeted warmly by first responders, as he also went room to room talking to survivors. These images captured by the White House, reporters were not allowed in.
I think the victims and the first responders were grateful that the President of the United States came to Dayton.
More protesters in El Paso, where some critics say he shouldn't have come, that his address to the nation earlier this week.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
Was overshadowed by his divisive language on race and on Latino migration.
That's an invasion. It is an invasion, you know that.
This community needs to heal, does not need more division from this president.
Trump's anger, hate, and divisiveness, and doing nothing about the endemic and the epidemic of guns is fueling a literal carnage in America.
The president defending himself this morning.
My critics are political people. They're trying to make points. In many cases, they're running for president and they're very low in the polls.
Tonight in El Paso, people are in mourning and divided.
I think we need to hear from him what he's going to do.
Do you think the president should be visiting today?
No, he's called us everything in the book. And then to come and, we may pardon, but we don't forget what he said about us and what he's created here.
And on his way here to El Paso, the president escalating feuds with his political rivals, calling out Joe Biden and Beto O'Rourke by name on Twitter.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.